Testing. Okay. Right, welcome everyone. My name is Sophie. I am a maintainer of this project. This is the Python SDK, which is inside Hiero. There's a few of us here from the Hiero team today. As you can see, we have grown by 108 contributors. So we've been experiencing lots and lots of growth. And the way we did that was through good first issues. Actually, I came to the Hiero SDK through a good first issue as well. So the whole good first issue topic has helped to build the community as well, not just create new contributors. So I'm going to explain how we did that. Right, so first of all, what is a good first issue? It's a really simple, like, change the title, add a comment, sort of small, very well scoped issues that are valuable to the project. Sometimes we need to rename files, sometimes we need to move them, sometimes we are missing comments, doc strings. So these are really valuable contributions. And when we have an issue like that, so here you can see we have some issues that are about formatting some of the files. You just run a formatter and outputs the change that we need. You label them as good first issue. When you do that, the GitHub marketing machine becomes online. Right. So as I said, good first issues have always been part of the Python SDK. We started out with like 0 good first issues, but very quickly we had like 20 and stuff. Our definition of good first issue has changed over time. Our initial good first issues were like, please create an entire token associate transaction. Please add unit tests, integration tests, research gRPC, whatever on your own merit. And I joined kind of like early on in that. So they've always been part of that. And what happened in October 2025 is Hacktoberfest, and that's when we decided to like on-ramp the good first issue topic. That's when we started to think about them with like the guidelines and stuff like this. So we will see what has happened. So first of all, to be able to access the GitHub marketing for good first issues, it's really good practice to start tagging them inside your project description. So we have like good first issue, good first issues. Similarly with Hacktoberfest, not many projects do that. I would really recommend to do that because you will then be easier to find. What we also do is in the about section, we like to describe very clearly what the project does. Because you can imagine you're competing against like thousands of projects that have good first issues, and you have a new developer, you don't know where they are from, which country, what they're interested in, and they're looking through so many options, so you just got to tell them, this is what we do. Here you're going to find a good opportunity. Okay, so like at a glance, a person knows this is about smart contracts, this is about distributed ledger technology, blockchain. And I feel that has really set us apart. As you have seen, in 2025, we had 0 good first issues. We were a really young project. We only are like 1 year old, 1.2 months old, something like this. So when we started this, the project had like 10 contributors. We were really, really small, but we were still able to grow a lot. With our good first issues, initially, they were all really written very differently. I know Rob created a really nice template for us, but I had to keep copy pasting it. And sometimes some of the issues were way better than others. But we followed these 3 kind of principles where you would have a problem, you would have a solution, and you would have an implementation. And as my day job, I'm a teacher. So like I've learned through time when you add an implementation, you have to just guide people step by step. And especially when people come from a diverse background, you can't assume that they know this, that they have the research skills for this. So you just go, do this, then do this, then do this, especially for good first issues. And as I said, I just typed this by hand quite a lot of the time. There were typos in there. It wasn't like, this is probably one of my better good first issues. I think this was an even better one where I had like emojis. The emojis were a really good thing. Having links, having examples there was a really nice thing. All of this was manual in the beginning. So yeah, this was I'm really proud of this good first issue, and Rob gave me lots of ideas with how to kind of structure that. Anyone have any questions with how we got started with good first issues and what they look like in the beginning? Okay, so we were creating so many good first issues because we had like loads of developers coming in because they saw they could succeed in the project. They saw, okay, I know exactly what the problem is. I know exactly how to solve it. There's maybe a couple of things I need to research, but in general, the hard work is done. So because we created so many good first issues, there was always a good first issue like in the last hour created. And that meant we were actually ranking on the top of the Hacktoberfest page. I was really surprised talking to these developers later on because it's like, how did you come across this project? I don't know. I was just looking for Hacktoberfest issues. Your project was just there. I looked at the issue description and I thought I could do it. So some people don't even they never come into like the decentralized space, the blockchain space, but we were attracting them anyway. And many of these people have stayed. So I will tell you about like the results of these good first issues. So one of the key points is for good first issues, the more regular you create them, the higher you rank on GitHub. And GitHub is a marketing machine for good first issues. They really want to attract new developers, and they will help you to do that. That's all we needed to do. And this was all really manual. Yeah, another way that we were successful with good first issues is we had really good feedback. And the way I describe really good feedback is these three key pillars. So we were really good with the timing. I follow the project. I get like the emails coming in. And as the emails came in, I was like, right, I have a new starter. They want to join. They want to get assigned. Or they have a pull request. So it was timely. It was informative. So here, this person, Antonio, didn't merge, didn't sign their commits. I'm sure quite a few people here have experienced that when the new pull requests have not signed their commits, even if you tell them to sign your commits. So here I had the information telling them you haven't signed your commits. Actually, some people don't realize they haven't signed their commits. You need to look at the tab, or you need to look at the bottom of the pull request to realize that. So you tell them you haven't signed your commits, and then you're helpful. You help them solve that. So then you're like, can you revert your commit? Can you re-sign them? And you can read this document at the bottom that we created to help them overcome this. They were able to overcome these barriers. I don't know if this signing guide is magic or something. I don't change it because I'm kind of scared. If I change this signing MD file, I start to worry, like, oh, it's worked quite well so far. I don't want to suddenly break it. So we close 80% of our good first issues in around 5 days. And this is the simple strategy that we do. So in Hacktoberfest, we manually created them. We had typos in them. Some had emojis, some didn't have. They were in caps, we didn't have. We just had the quick feedback that was informative, and people were able to overcome that. What we found is lots and lots of developers were really, really excited to contribute to the project. They wanted to build skills. They were really sincere. They were really friendly. So once they got over the first contribution, they were like, okay, I'm going for the next one. going for the next one and they built their skills. Antonio is in the pipeline to become a committer. Hopefully, I've actually created a pull request in the Hiero governance repo. So he started off as a good first issue starter that didn't have the signed commits. So it's just examples of how it was really manual in the beginning. And that was okay. That still attracted lots and lots of new starters. So it's really simple, just these 3 key steps with the good feedback. Here we have lots and lots of new contributors to show you with our Hacktoberfest releases. We had 660% month-on-month increase with developer activity, 39 new developers, which was really significant for us because I think we had like 10 developers. 74 merge pull requests, 165 files changed. I didn't sleep much during the Hacktoberfest time because I was manually creating the issues, reviewing them and stuff. But it was really great to see this. And what was also really nice is you would talk to these people and they were really grateful for the opportunity. They were like, thank you for helping us learn how to contribute to the open source code base. That's something that I have always wanted to do. I found it difficult. I really feel that I can progress in this repository. Okay, so for me, the big question was like, okay, Hacktoberfest is over. Can the good first issue thing continue? So this was the first question, the big question that I have. And I didn't know that there was any guide about this. I was like, I'm just going to find out. I'm going to find out what's going to happen. So if you Google good first issues, you will typically see this GitHub page. And what this tells me is like, yeah, people will still be looking for good first issues. The good first issue label is still going to attract people. And that link takes you to here, which is things that have tags for good first issues, which is what I was talking about in the beginning. If you tag your project with good first issues, you will be on this page. And you can see here, this was a couple months back. We were ranking first by recently updated for good first issues. So any Python developer that wants to contribute to an active project might look at this, will probably look at this actually, and might think about joining. So if you look on here, you will see lots of other big projects, 6,800 stars and everything like this. But quite a lot of people will do recently updated. And yeah, quite often we were near the top because we were creating so many issues and merging lots and lots of pull requests. Okay, and then so does good first issues work to attract new developers that eventually become committers and things like this? Even outside of Hacktoberfest, yes, they do. I created this analytics graph, and you can see that these things are really closely tied together. The more good first issues you have, the more new contributors come to your project. I think I made this a couple weeks back, so we have a lot more new contributors. It's like 85 contributors. I think we're at 125 now. So you don't need to wait until Hacktoberfest to get started on good first issues. One thing I wanted to know also is like, who are our new starters? What kind of skills do they have? Because as we've seen, GitHub markets good first issues to like anyone. So I was thinking, are they going to be like totally brand new developers where I need to teach them from the beginning? Are they going to be experienced developers that have maybe worked on private projects and now want to just try out open source? And I think the answer to that is a little bit of a combination. Quite a lot of people, I would say, are not actually brand new. They don't have 0 years of experience. A lot of people have maybe one to 2 years of experience talking to some of these developers, because I was getting on calls with them to help them with their signing and everything, have 1 to 2 years, so they're usually like university students studying computer science, and then maybe second year, and they're looking to gain some like real world experience to put on their CV. I contributed to this repository or something like this. But we also have a lot of developers who are very experienced. They're just maybe wanting to learn a different skill. Maybe they've been doing data analytics, and now they want to try out some blockchain development. So this was really exciting to see for me. We have a real variety, a great diversity with our contributors. Any questions? Okay. So then I had the challenge, because I had a wild time in Hacktoberfest where I was manually creating the issues. These issues would take me half an hour. I had to find them. I would have to type them up manually, half an hour each. And then I would have to review them where people had like signing issues, merge conflict issues. It was really manual and I was struggling for time. But then I realized we can automate all that. So I decided to automate the entire maintainer pipeline. And that's what I've been focused on for after Hacktoberfest. After realizing people still want good first issues, we can still get great results with good first issues. My next challenge was like, how am I going to survive? How am I going to survive this if people are still going to come in as they were before? And how do I create a community? Because I have all these people coming in, they have between 1 to 13 years of experience. They're going to get bored really fast. So I had to automate things, and I had to simultaneously give them progression opportunities. Like moving files around, changing the names, that kind of thing isn't going to work anymore. So the part about creating the issues, you can make it a lot easier by going on your GitHub file and creating an issue template for that. So because I want progression, I'm not only going to create templates for good first issues, I'm also creating beginner ones, intermediate. It took me a while to figure that out, and advanced ones. So we have bespoke templates for that. That means when I want to create an advanced issue, I can create it in 5 minutes. If I want to make a good first issue, I can also make it in 5 minutes, and it's got the content that I need for the new starters and for the advanced starters. We created guidelines. By the way, when I say we, I mean all these new starters. All these new starters with me created the guidelines. We created the templates. Everyone kind of understood why we needed that. And when I was talking with them, they were like, yeah, I feel I like to contribute to the Python SDK because the things that I do are useful. I see them being used every day, and I'm like, oh, that feels nice. So we created some guidelines, we created some templates, and now all you need to do is you just pre-fill the descriptions, the solution, the implementation. That's all you need to do, and you can fill that in 5 minutes. The rest is pre-filled. It just takes 5 minutes to create, not 35 minutes anymore. Let's see if this is an example of what it would look like. So if I create a new issue, what I do here is I have all these new templates. So I want to create a good first issue, for example. And all of this is like pre-filled for me. And all I need to do is edit this section. I have some examples if I have any doubt with how it's done. I fill this in, and then that's it. I hit create. And then I will see something like this. So we've improved this a lot through time. One thing I noticed is you really want to stand out from the GitHub list of good first issues. You want to make the person feel that not only is this a useful issue that the project needs, but I feel like I'm going to succeed. The barrier to like become an open source contributor is quite scary. And sometimes the maintainers aren't available, so you're not really sure if you're going to get the feedback to progress. So we really want to make it clear to people like, okay, here's a new first issue. It's friendly for new contributors. You don't need Hiero, Hiero experience. You need just basic Python. And we also tell them, like, look, just try it. It will take 30 to 90 minutes. It's really well scoped. It's good for new contributors. We make it clear to people, like, you're welcome here. Have a go, try it out. And so it's not just informative, it's also motivating. It lowers the bar and makes people feel welcome. So we have the description, it has the code examples, how to solve the problem, the step-by-step way of fixing the issue. So you feel when you read this, yeah, I can do this. And if I can't do this, I'll get quite close, and then I'll get help with the rest of it. We have guides on how to set up the project, and we tell them all the steps. I realized quite quickly that people don't like to read 13 new documents. They'll read one, but they won't read 13 because you'll get overwhelmed. So I put it on a step-by-step list that will tell them everything they need to do. And if they want a reference, then you look at the document. But I'm not saying look at the document first and then contribute. That's too much for a new starter. So step-by-step on how to set up, step-by-step on how to contribute. That's where I tell them, please sign your commits. And it's a checklist, so you can see that's all worked. We also have sections on like how to get help if you get stuck. And we link to lots of other documents in that. And yeah, that's our current templates. So we automated like the issue creation, made it a lot easier. We also made it a lot more welcoming. But we have also automated like the pipeline. So when somebody comes to an issue and wants to work on the issue, all they need to do is comment, assign, and we have a bot that auto-assigns them. So I don't need to like be awake at 3 a.m. anymore and be like, I would like to be assigned to this. Yes, I am assigning you at 3 a.m. It gets auto-assigned. For me, that was such a nice change. We obviously had to add some safeguards. So inside this bot, auto-assign, it checks things like, have you already been assigned to like 2 issues? So we have like a cap and things like this, but it's working pretty well for good first issues. You then get assigned a mentor. You get all the support links like the Discord and things like that. An AI comments on the issue and gives you a detailed step-by-step plan. So that means I can be a little bit less clear on the implementation side. The AI will figure it out from the problem description and the solution. So you've got 2 perspectives on how to implement it. You've got the high-level issue creator, and you've got the detailed AI implementation plan. And we do that automatically. So I hope I have an example here. So we have Antonio here. Does everyone recognize who Antonio is? Antonio was the person with the signing issues who started off as a good first issue starter in Hacktoberfest. He has created this issue. Abby Humphreys here wants to be assigned. Notice she comments /assign. And then we have a bot that auto-assigns her. So when you're a new starter, like if you just think about like how scared you must be joining a new repository and having to wait on a maintainer to assign you can sometimes make you like not be available or lose some of that like initial motivation you had. So we noticed when you manually assign people, some of these people wouldn't come back. So now that we're auto-assigning, you go with the vibe that they have, and you can, it flows a lot better. So we auto-assign them. We say, welcome to the Python community. Here's your mentor, Antonio in this case. We have a link to the Discord now and things like that. And here is the step-by-step AI plan, which tells them, please change this file, do this, and do this. That's more detailed than what I do. So our success rates for good first issues are really, really high, and we've been able to lower the bar in some ways as well to make it more welcoming even for people with even less experience. But that's okay because they progress really quickly. You can see that this was merged in just a couple of days. Abby didn't link her issue. We have Antonio giving feedback, which I always like to see. We have automated feedback. You didn't verify you didn't sign your commits. Here are the guides on how to fix it. We have our AI reviewer saying, I disagree with the way that you have added your changelog entry. Abby is asking for help, and we have another good first issue starter who is giving them some feedback on how to fix that. Here's another one giving them some feedback as well. And eventually it was merged. So you can see at the end as a maintainer, I just reviewed this once. We have the automated bots telling them you haven't verified your commits and everything. We have the AI code rabbit giving them like code quality feedback. We have the good first issue starters who are taking on more responsibility because they want to. They want to progress. And I just need to review this once. Be like, great, thanks. This is awesome. I'm really happy you like this. So this is how we do the onboarding. And as you have seen here, this is how we do the feedback. The person creates a pull request and you get automated feedback from our GitHub Actions bots. So you get, you haven't signed, you haven't added your changelog entry, you haven't linked your issues. Our checks have failed, our tests have failed. Here is how to solve them. Our good first issue starters then provide feedback. And then we have the final maintainer approval. We actually have a new bot now launched. If you complete a beginner issue, if you complete a good first issue, you're going to get recommended the next issue. Yeah, so I really like that because sometimes people complete good first issues and you never see them again. And that could be because you don't have good first issues available, or they're looking at it through email and they haven't gone back to the repository. This gives them another reconfirmation backup. So we're creating this feedback cycle where people can progress really quickly and they don't depend on the maintainers. They don't have to progress slowly. Any questions? Yes.
Those bots that you created, for example, to the AI tools, have you that code? Do you have it? Is it shareable?
Yeah, it's absolutely all shareable. It is all open source and it's all inside our repository. So anyone can look at this. You go to our GitHub file and then you go to our workflows, which are the triggers for these various bots. So our bot for here's the next issue that I would like to recommend to you. All the code is written there and it triggers this logic script. And you can also find the logic scripts inside here. That's how we've created the workflows. We create the trigger workflow and then that links to the logic workflow, which makes it a lot more maintainable. And it's easier to test because if you do it inline in the workflow, you get all kinds of syntax issues and it's just hard to test. So who created all these, by the way? Anyone have any ideas? Good first issue starters. They created all this. They're loving it because they feel, hey, this would be really useful to new starters. They have that connection with the experience of what it's like to be a new issue starter. And let's be honest, it's a little bit painful. So they're really happy to work on this. And some of them have been creating really, really advanced workflows. So these are all quite well tested now through a lot of different edge cases. There's still a little bit more time that we can give things. Yeah, they're pretty good. Yes.
So how long would it take to set this up for one of our repositories? If you don't have any experience writing this process,
yeah, so I would probably, you could just copy them over and I think they would work the same. But you might want to start on the most essential ones. So maybe you want to start with the signing one, maybe merge conflict one. Maybe the thing that is more time consuming is making sure you have documents. Like, do I have a document explaining how to overcome the signing problems? We have them as well, which you are welcome to also copy. So we have a docs section for developers. And inside here we have quite well-tested guides, like stuff that I don't like to change, on how to sign your commits, how to do rebases, and we don't use Python SDK too much as well. We've tried to make it a bit generic. Yeah, but those workflows they work. They're not too Python SDK specific. Obviously, if you want to like make it less hard coded and stuff like that, then you would have to refactor them a bit more.
Because this is really everything we see is in the Hiero Python SDK. Now our next step is we want to bring it to some other SDK, so we're working like to bring it to C++, I assume. Then we understand better what we, what is project specific, what could be like a vanilla version, and then bring it into the tag to allow every project to that would be, from my point of view, the goal is
like a package.
Yeah, kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Have you already thought what will happen when we move to the time where the good first issues are all addressable by AI? There is no incentive anymore for a human to jump in. How would you bootstrap humans at that point?
Yeah. I think that there are still many good first issues that will be relevant to humans, even if AI comes in and is able to fix file names and things like that. So I still think that the humans will be there. But yeah, we've created some beginner issues, intermediate issues, advanced. So that's one of the things I really wanted to talk about today, is what do you do when you have 125 new developers and they're progressing extremely quickly because they have all this automated feedback and all these other reviewers that are humans coming in. What happens next? How do you make the issues more difficult? How do you help the human progress even more?
But for those issues, you're saying like a good first issue, beginner issue.
Yeah.
Someone's identifying them as a good first issue or as an intermediate issue.
Yeah.
And that is you, or who's doing that job?
Yeah, so we have guidelines that we wrote which explains what criteria we have to identify something as a beginner or intermediate and things. So that means a third party could come in and decide, okay, I think this is an intermediate issue or a beginner issue. Most of the issues are still created by me because I'm faster, but we have a lot of people that are creating issues. So you saw Antonio was creating some new first issues. We have people that create advanced issues. Yeah, like the Python SDK is still quite young, despite having lots and lots of developers coming in. We're still trying to grow our users of the Python SDK, so I hope that will make it faster in terms of who creates issues. But we have created below committer status, we've created a junior committer, which is called the triage team. And these are our new first issue starters that have a couple of months of contributions and are ready to start building maintainer or committer level skills. How to train all these new starters? Real problem. I was really stuck on this, and actually I'm going to tell you I have the solution. The way to do it is to create intermediate issues, advanced issues, beginner issues, good first issues. You need the full pipeline. I thought we needed to create a training document explaining the theory of blockchain technology and stuff like that. I think I'm wrong. I think all we need to do is create different difficulty issues and make sure we always have that pipeline so people learn on the job inside their circle of competence. We have successfully trained our triage team, and our new committers are in the pipeline through this method. And it's just me essentially creating these issues. Community is feeling really good. It's not that we have 125 new contributors and they leave or they don't feel engaged. this person is really happy to contribute, wants to contribute again. 80% of our good first issues are completed in 6 days. And you can see here we have a whole bunch of developers that have already progressed. So this was made a few weeks ago when I didn't have a beginner issue. But you can see here that already 50% of our pull requests coming in are actually intermediate level or advanced level. So that just shows you these new issue starters, they are learning new skills fast, and they're working on intermediate issues primarily, some of them advanced issues. We still have a lot of good first issues, and that's how we've created this community where people feel they can progress, they feel safe, they can build their skills. If they want to learn how to become a committer, join the triage team, learn how to approve and review pull requests with read-only permission, and then they can overcome some of these challenges. So I think that's all I wanted to talk about. 125 new issues, 13 junior committers, 4 good first issue committee members, and we're in this pipeline to grow our committer base. I have a pull request for that outstanding. Yeah, so if you look at the Python SDK, we have 121 contributors. We have, where I put this? Our commits have grown significantly over time by lots and lots of different new starters. Yeah, and I feel we have a really healthy community. I still need quite a lot of help. I'm working on this quite a little time, even though I've automated things, because I'm still working on training the people and building a new community. So you solve one fire and then there's another one going on and then over here. So yeah, any questions?
How much time do you spend on it now?
This was my side project of my side project of my side project. And it's now become my main side project. I choose to spend about probably full-time hours on this to get it to this stage where we created all the automations and built the issue progression. So I can't do much more.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I think this demonstrates that these new starters are incredibly valuable. And this is why one of the reasons why I want to have mentorships, where we give these new starters more of a structured, longer term ability to continue to work on the code. I think that would be a nice thing to add. Yeah.
How many people of these committers do you think are also using the SDK?
I haven't focused on that. I for now I focus on growing the developer community. The Python SDK is just over a year old, so I don't know. GitHub hasn't told us who uses it yet. I know of a few projects, but I haven't focused in that area yet. Yeah.
I think that's really interesting. That it really shows how people are just inherently motivated to contribute to a nice puzzle or to something they can feel useful.
Yeah.
That's really special.
They want to build a skill and they find it fun.
Yeah.
What they don't find fun is waiting 5 days for a maintainer to assign them and give them feedback. Yeah.
So you have a way to communicate with these contributors, the new starters.
Yes.
Do you have face-to-face conference on
we have one community meeting a week, and we have one office hour. So one community call a week, one office hour, community call, office hour. We go in that rotation. I've had to call people. Like some people did not understand the signing, and I had to actually get on a call with them. Yeah, sometimes that happens. You get a variety of people. Yeah.
So are they normally like to talk to you, or they want to stay anonymous?
Most people are really happy to talk to me. So like I think someone mentioned that they prefer to individually message you on Discord. What they're less willing to do is talk on an open public Discord where they confess some of their mistakes or something. But we have a lot of people joining the community calls. We actually have a bot saying, hey, there's a community call in 4 hours. So we have been able to get higher attendance through that. And as we have a triage team, I've also given them more responsibilities. So I'm not running the community calls or the office hours anymore. It's the triage team that are running that. Yeah.
Do you think that you reached a point where you can set a goal for the community, like to achieve parity with other SDKs in 1 year, and the community will make it? Just the best effort. Because I understand that if you don't have particular pressure on delivery, for sure, no, why not? If you have pressure on delivery, what do you do?
Okay, so I think we are going to do that through mentorships. The mentorships that I have written out are to go through another SDK, take the time to research it, see what's missing. I can't do so because to achieve parity, I think you need a lot of issues created that says we're missing this transaction, we're missing this transaction. But because it's so research heavy, that's something that I don't have the time to do. So I will need somebody with long-term available time to be able to identify that, who's quite skilled. So I'm hoping to solve that through mentorships. And as soon as they create lots of different issues, then we have lots and lots of developers who would be really happy to work on that.
Any other questions?
Great. Thank you for listening to this talk.
Well, I think that's remarkable, especially just how powerful the GitHub marketing is if you tap into it the right way. Then your chart of it just shooting up is just really impressive.
Oh, I am outstanded by how well GitHub markets.
Yeah, that's remarkable.
Yeah, this is none of my doing. This is entirely GitHub.